based on the directive of Mr. President himself, that we must produce what we consume as a country, particularly when we can. It's based on the principles that Nigeria cannot remain where it is today. It has to become a rich nation. And I say, my favorite quote is that no nation anywhere in the world has managed to move from a poor to a rich nation by relying entirely on exporting raw materials as we have done in decades without having a strong industrial and services sector. No country has done it anywhere in the world. United Kingdom started in 1485, as I say, under King Henry VII, which means that we have the commodities. We must learn to add great value to our commodities and don't turn them into industrial products. That is what the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan seeks to answer. It has about 5 main features. One is that we are focusing on sectors where Nigeria has competitive and comparative advantage, where Nigeria can be number 1 in Africa and with time top 10 globally. We can do it because, as I always say, we have done it in the cement sector, and we can always replicate our success in cement. When cement started, people were complaining that the limestone was poor. We didn't have gypsum. We don't have power. But today, at least last year, we moved from a country that produced 2 million metric tons to 28.5 million metric tons. And for the first time in the history of Nigeria, Nigeria exported cement outside this country in 2013. By the end of this year, we will have the capacity to produce 39 million metric tons in the country, and we will have one of, if not the largest cement producing plant in the world in Nigeria. If we can do it in cement, we can do it in 15 other sectors. That is what the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan seeks to achieve. Today, that sector supports about 1.6 million people. The second feature of the Industrial Revolution Plan is that it is holistic. It's the first time we have a holistic plan, meaning that it is not just, it's across the value chain. It is useless focusing on what we did in the 70s by saying companies come and assemble cars in this country, put in your CKDs without developing our local content. That's where the job is, that's where the economic activity is. So when we talk about the auto policy today, it's not just manufacturing cars or producing spare parts. It is because I want to go from iron ore to metals because I need the flashes. You saw some cars out there. We can do it because we have some of the best deposits of iron ore in the world in Nigeria. I want to move from from gas. We have the 8th largest reserve of gas. I want to move from gas to petrochemicals to plastic to support the auto industry. I want to move from rubber to tires to support the industry. We must develop the local content, and we can do it. That is how we create jobs, and that's what we mean by value addition. We describe this as holistic also because we intend to create industrial cities, industrial parks. Working with the state governors, they have a role in it. One example is what we're doing in Ogedengbe. Working with the governor of Delta State, where we have the proposal, the plan, to have for the first time in this country, the first gas industrial park in this country in Ogedengbe. The governor has worked with us, given us the land. We are working with the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Resources and the Minister of Transport, who will provide the ports there. It will be the first, and the idea is to create a cluster around Ogedengbe where you produce your petrochemicals, your fertilizer, your methanol, but also clusters around it for pharmaceutical, chemical, and of course plastic industry. So that in one location you can find this, and we can be the #1 center in Africa if we do that. That is our aspiration. The third area of the plan is that it is integrated. I always crack a joke with my colleagues that I am joined at the waist with the Minister of Agriculture because I need agriculture to work for me to have my raw product. I'm joined at the waist with the Minister of Mines and Steel because I need industrial minerals for our industries to work. I'm joined at the waist with the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Resources because I need the crude oil, I need the gas for our industries to work. So we must work together as a team. We are one. as one. And we work for the same government, we work for the same president. So we must work as one to implement this program. I need the support of the Minister of Power, because industrial power is critical for any form of industrialization. Industries account for 1/3 of the power generated in any country. Today, the lack of power costs our production, increases our production by about 30 to 40%. When we have full power in place for industrial base, it is clear that our industrial output will increase by 38% minimum, and our GDP will go up by at least 2 or 3%. I am working closely with the Minister of Power. It's not just directing power to those sectors. We are working on a program where we have captive power for our industrial zones and industrial parks in the country. So it is integrated in that sense because it ties in with other development plans of the country. It is for the first time in the history of this country, it's not just about tariff. It's not just about, I want to grow the sector. We as a country must focus on issues of competitiveness. We have identified 7 factors under the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan, which this country must focus on if we must industrialize and be competitive at the same time. This includes, of course, access to affordable finance. It includes skills, industrial skills development. That's why we're reforming the ITF. It includes infrastructure, power. I've talked about that already. It includes standards. It includes, for the first time, linking innovation, science and technology to the industry. Today, we have a lot of research work done in our universities, but there's no link to the market sector. It's not market-driven. We will, working with the Minister of ICT, Minister of Science and Technology, we are going to have a 1-week innovation industry day where we link the two together to make sure they work together. To make it work, we must improve our investment climate and business climate. And finally, we must consume what we produce, which means that local patronage is a policy that we must adhere to strictly. Mr. President has given us that direction already. If you come to council, you see that our approvals are based on what we produce locally. State governments are beginning to follow suit. I have some of my state governors here, they will tell you more about it later, but we must consume what we produce as a country. Those are the 7 points that make the difference. So ladies and gentlemen, those are the key features of this, and of course, we are working with the private sector to do this. The days of exporting raw materials, the days of exporting jobs are coming to an end in this country under the transformation agenda of Mr. President. The days and decades where we have exported crude oil out of this country and pretended to be a rich nation, when in fact we are a poor nation. When you export crude oil, they process it, they create jobs. They add the profit margin to it, and then they sell it back to you. You use your proceeds from the sale of crude oil, ask taxpayers' money, and buy petroleum products back. How can you be rich as a nation if that is your policy as a country? The Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan answers those questions today. What you and I want to see, what we will see in this country, this new Nigeria that we are creating under the President's transformation agenda, what we will see will be different from 2017. We will see a country where you will see sell the crude oil to a Nigerian company. You see generate the revenue. You will see a country where that Nigerian company processes the crude oil, the gas in this country. In that process, create jobs in this country. As you create jobs in this country, those employees will pay tax, personal tax to the state governments. Those employees will have enough funds disposable income to become a big consumer group and buy other things in the country. When you sell those products, of course, you generate VAT. These companies will be extremely profitable, which means that they will pay taxes to the federal government. That is a multiplying effect of it. That is the new Nigeria we're creating. That is the new Nigeria the Industrial Revolution Plan seeks to address. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to this occasion and encourage you to join us and be part of this move.
Your Excellency.